Welcome back. Fired Gauteng Health MEC Bandile Masuku isn't going down without a fight. He's challenging an SIU report which led to him being sacked. The Special Investigating Unit says Masuku failed in his oversight role as MEC with regard to PPE tenders. He now wants a court to declare the findings unlawful, unconstitutional and set aside. Masuku is also accusing the ANC's Gauteng PEC of not following the rules when it suspended him. Let's get reaction from Modise. He's the spokesperson for the Provincial Executive Committee. Bones, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Hope you can hear me. So Bandile Masuku says he respects the PEC's decision, but says he was suspended without formal charges against him. Is that true?
Hello, Shahan.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you said Bandile is doing what?
He says that he respects the PEC's decision, but he was suspended without formal charges being leveled against him.
Well, I can tell you the process of how it works, and I'm sure Comrade Bandile Masuku is privy to the organizational processes. You would remember there were two reports that were sanctioned by the PEC of the ANC in Gauteng. One was the Provincial Integrity Committee, which came to the PEC and reported on its findings. There were certain issues that were flagged by the Provincial Executive Committee, which then mandated the Provincial Working Committee to go and work on those issues that it had flagged. Upon its conclusion of what was mandated to do, the Provincial Working Committee will have came to the PEC that took place last week Tuesday and reported. And in both the reports, there were some correlation between the two reports where they agreed. And it was then decided that the best form of solving this issue once and for all is that Comrade Bandile, Comrade Kusela must be then be brought to the Provincial Disciplinary Committee so that this matter can be finalized and be brought to book.
So I don't know if you've seen his court papers, because he says that he wanted a charge sheet in order for you to have taken that decision. Is that not what the processes are? In fact, he quotes two rules from the ANC, Rule 25.57.4 and 25.57.5. He says those rules were not followed, and this PEC decision was not in accordance with procedures.
The issues of charges, as soon as the charge sheet has been developed, they will get their own copy of charge sheet so that they know what is it that they've been charged with. And if needs be, whether they should get a legal counsel or they should get someone who's familiar with the ANC, an elder or a veteran of the ANC, to come with them during the disciplinary committee meetings. So they will get it this week. I know today the office bearers will have met. I'm sure they've finalized everything. And Comrade Bandile and Comrade Kusela will get their own charge sheet.
So you say he's been suspended for tarnishing the ANC's reputation, but Masuku is challenging the SIU report in court and says that his image has in fact been tarnished because the allegations or the report itself is unconstitutional.
Comrade Bandile, like any citizen of this country, has a right that is been given to him by the constitution of the country to challenge any findings against him. The issue of SIU, if Comrade Bandile feels that it was not an honest reflection of what has happened, he has the right to challenge it, and he will do that. But that is a process that is separate from the ANC process. With the ANC process is the DC, where we'll have an opportunity once and for all to clear his name. The SIU, like any person who has been found guilty by lower court, would go to the special, the appeal court in Bloemfontein, and finally go to court in Braamfontein. So if they're not happy, people have a right to seek a better court to find differently from the lower court. And in this instance, Comrade Bandile is not happy with the SIU, and he feels that the court will arrive at a different determination. That's why he's going to court.
So what evidence have you used to actually tell him to step aside? What's the basis for that?
I had already indicated that there was a Provincial Integrity Committee report that was presented before the PEC, including the report that was presented by the Provincial Working Committee upon being mandated by the Executive Committee to go and work with the recommendation of the Integrity Committee and the issues that was flagged by the PEC that needed to be worked on.
But Bandile Masuku seems to think the SIU report is being used by the ANC to get rid of him. Is that the case?
No. That has nothing to do with SIU. Hence, I'm saying to you, I have not spoken about the SIU in our conversation. I'm speaking about the Provincial Integrity Committee It had its own report with its own recommendations. However, there were issues that the Executive Committee felt that they needed further probing. That's why the Provincial Working Committee was mandated to go and work on these issues that the PEC felt that they needed to be worked on. Upon that, they came to the PEC last week Tuesday. They presented their report, which was not far from what the Integrity Committee would have presented. Hence, the decision was then taken, because these two reports, more or less, they were saying the same thing. Nothing about the SIU. We have not spoken about the SIU.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kusela Diko then, because Bandile Masuku, of course, has been suspended or fired, I should say, by the province for the SIU finding. But there's also findings on Kusela Diko. You've decided to also ask her to step aside from her duties. Do you think she deserves to get her job back as presidential spokesperson then?
That is a call the president will have to make. It's not our call to make.
But as an organization, because you say that she's tarnished the image of the ANC, does she deserve that job?
The process of the ANC is separate from that of government. As the ANC were engaged in our own internal processes, and that is why Comrade Kusela is now facing DC.
Yeah.
What president does in terms of his responsibility as the president of the country is something else that we cannot comment on. He will have to take a decision, and once that has been taken, I'm sure Minister Mthembu will come out and say what is it that the president seeks to do moving forward. Let's speak about what we are doing as the ANC of Gauteng, and this is what I've explained.
Just in terms of how you approach these things, Bones, because you did say that David Makhura made the right decision, right, by sacking Bandile Masuku.
The PEC was unanimous on the fact that it welcomed the decision that was taken by the Premier of the province. So the PEC felt that indeed the Premier did a right thing by removing Comrade Bandile from the responsibility of being an MEC of helping the province.
And then you called for a person to be employed in that position on an urgent basis. So why then can you not make a call regarding the presidential spokesperson?
So you're saying in regards to the presidential spokesperson, what's happening?
I'm saying after saying that you agreed with David Makhura, you then went on to call for a replacement for an MEC of Health in Gauteng on an urgent basis. So why can't you make a call regarding Kusela Diko?
But, Shahan, I've explained it 3 times already. That is a process of the president. The president of the country will come to that determination. I'm sure if your producers, if they can just call the office of the president and find out why are they not doing the following, when ANC in Gauteng has said the following, they will be able to respond. We can't respond on behalf of the president.
Well, I'm not asking you to respond on behalf of the president. I'm asking you to respond about your member who works for the presidency, the same thing that's happened with Bandile Masuku. But you're not going to answer that question. I understand what you're saying.
Of the province. Comrade Bandile Masuku, his responsibility was within the jurisdiction in which the Gauteng Executive Committee has an ability to take a decision on. Comrade Kusela, on the other hand, is with national government, not the provincial government. I'm sure if Comrade Kusela was a spokesperson of the Premier or any of the MECs in the province, the same decision would have arrived at.
Okay, thanks for your time. Bones Modise, spokesperson for the ANC's PEC in Gauteng.